We're here at the Ferrari store, and Chris Gardner wants one more shot, so he's going to get it. And he said to pick a race, and I think I'll pick the first Grand Prix professional Watkins Glen, 1958. The team was Phil Hill, captain, Dan Gurney, 3.5, Alan Markelson, 2-liter, and Bruce Kessler coming in from the West Coast to drive a 3.8. Well, Watkins Glen is not got along straight on it, so the Testarossa was very competitive, and I was right up there near the front at the grid position after qualifying quite high up. I'm sitting in the car, revving the car, waiting for the green flag. It starts to rain. Well, we had a rule basically that we would race in the rain, but we would not start in the rain. So we turn off the cars, and the mechanics come out and hold up the umbrellas. And it rains, and I fall asleep. I fell asleep, I really did. Afterwards, I found out it psyched out the other drivers something awful. Because that was me, I had no nerves. Once I clicked into the race, I mean, none at all. Just lucky, had the way to switch it off. After the race, my knees would shake, and maybe my body would chafe, thinking about what had happened, but during the race, never. So off we go, and I'm right up there, and the leader we knew was going to be Joe Bagnier in a 4.5-liter Maserati Grand Prix car. See, this is Formula Libre, anything goes. We're driving the sports Ferraris. And we just can't catch the son of a bitch. He's good. Jakob was a very good driver. Phil Hill tried. He finally dropped out. Dan was actually behind me. I couldn't get near him. I was, up there very close. I don't know, maybe 4th or 5th, something like that. And Watkins Glen is a short pit straight, and you have a right-hand turn and a bunch of S's up the hill to the relatively short back straight. And it's a right, left, right. Going up the hill, I do the right, and the left, and the right, and on the right, in effect, you're sliding up a hill, which is good grip, but you're using the whole road to carry the speed through the last of the S's onto the straight and carry that speed down the straight. It's very important to get the last of the S's correct so you can do that. So I'm flat out as fast as I can go through that last right-hander, and all of a sudden I notice to my left is Dan Gurney going sideways up the hill. I'm looking right up the snout of a 3.5 Testarossa. If I continue my drift to the outside, I'm going to nudge him. And if I nudge him, he's going off the course, gas tank first, right into a bunch of trees and a stone wall, and that's probably going to be the end of Dan Gurney. I was scared. My teammate, one of the nicest guys you'd ever meet in this world, had lost control of the bloody car, and I was going to kill him. Bad enough he's a nice guy, he's my teammate. Somehow, I slowed the car enough to let him slide by, so I then could finish my drift and pass behind him as he's trying desperately to straighten out the car on the last right-hander so he can go down the straight. Well, he never quite catches it. He fishtails down the whole straight, which was very short, to a sweeping right-hander at the end, which had an Armco galvanized steel guardrail. He leans the left rear quarter of the car against the guardrail and uses that as a brake to slow his car down and get control. He slid around the whole curve, grinding off the aluminum. Catches control of the car and off he goes. Make a long story short, toward the very end of the race, a ring bearing goes, holding up the drive shaft, not even a loaded part, $50 part, explodes, my drive shaft drops to the ground. Just before I'm finished coming down the hill, so I continue to coast to the pits with the engine revving, not letting the idea what's going on. pull into the pits, engine's perfect, you look, up. Someone finally looks under the car, and here's the drive shaft thumping along on the ground. End of story. Well, I still finished 9th overall because it was toward the end of the race. And I think 3rd on the 2-liter, so I got some points. And we're sitting there with the last lap coming around, and no Dan Gurney. Dan was running second, I think, trying to catch the Maserati, who's already across the finish line. No Dan Gurney. Finally, here comes Dan, coasting down the hill with a rock the size of your head up the snout of that Ferrari. He had put it right through the radiator, all the water was out, the engine had seized, he put it in neutral and coasted down the hill and got 3rd place. Canetti was furious. It's nice to get 3rd place money, but engines ruined, expensive. Canetti don't have money. Very unhappy with Dan. Make a long story short, got enough points with that in Riverside. He didn't race in Arlington, Virginia. So he got enough points in 3 races out of the 4 to be champion for over 2-liter. And I won enough points in the 4 of the 4 races to be champion under 2-liter. So we won everything for Canetti, but Canetti never, I don't know, ever reconciled with the fact that Dan was completely out of control when it comes to racing. Now, we all know how he graduated and got on with his career and had a wonderful, wonderful, successful career. But never really was happy until he made his own cars, the American Eagle. And I believe to this day, he's the only manufacturer who designed, built, and won a Formula One race until Jack Brabham did the same thing. And I guess McLaren did the same thing. But he was the first, the American Eagle.